I'm thinking about lots of Gen Z people, young people. I'm trying to suggest, why not become a connector?
A lot of people are like, oh, what are other cool Gen Z communities should I be connected with?
How do you make money? By introducing people to each other.
So sometimes that's like behind the scenes work I say I do.
Hey, this is Mike from Intro Stars, and today I'm very excited to bring you a brand new episode of the Super Connectors podcast in New York. And for today, I've got a very special treat for you. We're going to look at the next generation of super connectors, the Gen Z super connectors. So for that, I've got a very special guest star, Natalie Neptune. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So good to have you on the show to look at the next generation of super connectors, inspiring people to go out of their comfort zone, community building, joining a community of connectors, and making the world a better place for the next generation. So tell us your journey. How did you become a super connector?
My background is a little bit different. I like to say I grew up in Little India. Going back to where I grew up was really diverse. My whole neighborhood, usually everyone was, they were from India actually, and going to school was kind of like a mini melting pot. So naturally all my friends were from different cultures, different religions, and I really fast forward to college, like all my friends were actually international students. I had no friends that looked like me or were from the US, even though I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. And so I was really involved in having international students just have the best experience they could have in Pennsylvania. So a lot of my original community roots focused on global community building. So in college, I created over 300 plus different group chats with different startups, organizations, and universities. And that's how I coined the term the group chat queen. And that was my personal brand and signature that I started with in college. And fast forward today, like I'm a top LinkedIn voice and I host now IRL events, that conversion from URL to IRL, because I think IRL is the future.
And I love to meet people in person. You know, I used to be the king of networking in London, going to 1,000 networking events. So I really believe in the power of in-person events where you can really look at someone in the eye and build that trusting relationship, which is much harder if it's online, right? And so I think you put your finger on it, which is this is how you're going to build that new generation of connectors out there. So what kind of introductions do you make on a day-to-day basis? What kind of connections do you make in your community?
Yeah, so a lot of times my introductions, going back into my background, I went to college. I'm going to be a doctor. So I did civil engineering and I took pre-med classes. And in college, I found out about the entrepreneurship roles. Worked for some UC Berkeley startups, broke into VC as an analyst at a digital health firm. And so going back to the intros I make today, a lot of times it's from deep tech connections to connections to different law firms or to different investors that I have had the pleasure to be connected with. So it's really diverse and various. But going back to the Gen Z element, a lot of people are like, oh, what are other cool Gen Z communities should I be connected with? So I have like a huge document of different Gen Z IRL communities I know like the founders of and stuff. So that's just like another aspect that is like, I say, relatively newer of intros I kind of make.
So you intro people to communities.
Yes.
And to each other as well, both.
Yeah.
And what about members of all these communities sending introductions to each other? Do you facilitate that? Do you encourage that? Do you teach people how to do it?
Yeah, so I like to say, as a super connector and focusing on IRL events, is a lot of people go to my events and they meet like their best friends or they meet like their next co-founder of a company. So a lot of times I like to do the IRL events because, okay, I'm only one person. It's hard for me to always make those intros between for like, everyone. So a lot of times that's why I like to do the IRL event component when people come in person. And if it's a certain team, it's like female founders, co-founder matching event I did at Keels. So they were able to get intro to people that were trying to find a next founder. So for me is really creating that atmosphere so people can be connected with each other and make their own intros to each other. And of course, during the event, I'm facilitating intros, going around, introducing people like, oh, you're in healthcare? I know someone in healthcare right here. Here's Johnny, meet Johnny. And so I do that, but it's limited as just one person. So that's where the events, curated events, is really helpful.
I guess it's in our human nature to always want to connect the dots and connect people who are in a similar industry or have similar interests or a similar personality or similar values, right? And you obviously do that yourself, but then you create your events and your communities to bring those people together, which is amazing. But the question is really, how do you monetize that? How do you make money by introducing people to each other, managing communities. And obviously you want to make money, but you also want to make sure that it doesn't distort your personal brands and your relationships. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, so I like to say Gen Z T is a community, but I also say it has turned into a lot of kind of like an agency model. Because like sometimes companies come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you know all the cool LinkedIn creators. Can you do like my LinkedIn marketing for me? So sometimes that's like behind the scenes work I say I do, or it's like ghostwriting for founders. That's a big thing on LinkedIn. So a lot of the things I do is sometimes even like behind the scenes work of monetizing. But the frontward stuff is seeing, oh, getting sponsors like for my events. They like decide to pay me, oh, I want access to your audience, and they just give me the money to be able to bring their team, like if it's tabling or whatever. So I like to say that's frontward facing. And also if I get brand deals through LinkedIn. So as a top LinkedIn voice, some people are like, oh, I have a really cool event. Like I'm willing to pay you to market my event on your LinkedIn. So that's like more frontward facing, but the backward facing is doing like LinkedIn marketing strategy, doing ghostwriting for different founders, and also doing like sometimes end-to-end events for different clients.
And so what about monetizing introductions themselves?
Yeah.
Is that something you've thought about or working on, or not just for yourself, but for other people
Mhm.
out there who make introductions on a regular basis? What do you think of that business model where if two people introduce
Yeah.
people to each other, if a deal comes out of it, the introducer gets compensated? Have you thought of that model as well?
Yeah, so actually that's why I really loved your company and why I said yes to coming here, because what you're doing, I haven't seen anyone build what you're doing in terms of intros. You know, there's like their boardy, there's series out there, but they aren't really focused on the monetization of the intros. And like you're the only one actually like doing that. So when you did that, I'm like, actually that makes a lot of sense. The actual monetization like part. So you're actually the first person I actually saw do what you're doing. And I think is really like valuable for any sector specifically. I know I'm in the tech sector, but like in any sector. So I really love what you're building. Yeah, and yeah, I find it super valuable what you're building.
I mean, effectively, if people make a really high value introduction and something comes out of it, it's about fair compensation for the person who made it happen. So it's not being money driven, it's relationship driven.
Yeah.
Everything's relationship first and reputation first, personal brand first, helping each other, making the world a better place. But then afterwards, if something comes out of it, introducers really
Yeah.
brought that value. They need to pay their bills and create abundance and value around them. So that's really what we're trying to do. So would you think that would resonate with your community?
Yeah, it really would, cause like sometimes I make intros to like investors, but sometimes I don't know, like, oh, especially it's like angel investors. A lot of angel investors don't say they're angel investors. Like, oh, did you actually like invest in this company? Like, I think for me it'd be really great to connect like the ROI kind of on intros, and I think that's something no one's really facilitated. So it's like, okay, I introduced you to this investor. Did they actually like invest in your company? Or if it's on the client side, like, oh, I introduced someone to like a photographer or something, that you actually facilitate that. Because sometimes I think intros get lost in the sauce because you just make so many.
So the point is to track them, right? You want to track it. But really where I'm trying to get to is I'm thinking about lots of Gen Z people, young people, who haven't found a real career direction yet, or haven't found a personal mission yet,
Yeah.
or still trying to find themselves. And I'm trying to suggest, why not become a connector and an
Yeah.
introducer, either as a side hustle or even as a full-time job, just introducing people. And I think that's really exciting to open that up for millions of people. What do you think of that?
No, actually it's great because it made me think of the rise of UGC creators.
Yes.
And if you had like UGC, user generated creators, maybe user generated intros like UGI. So I think that it is like a whole market that I haven't, as I said, you're the first one ever doing it, that it could be a side hustle added on to what a lot of college students are doing. And they may be more encouraged to open up their network because, you know, so many brands want to target Gen Z at these universities.
Yep.
So they may more be willing because they know they're going to get monetized.
And it's all about helping others, creating value, having a win-win-win situation for everyone. And so what are you working on right now, which is really dear to your heart? Like, what is the latest project you're working on, and where can people follow you?
Yeah, so really dear to my heart right now, I mean, it's just creating better events and highly curated events. And where people can find me is definitely on LinkedIn as Natalie Neptune. Yes, my last name's Neptune, like the planet.
So cool.
And I use a lot of my events are on Luma, so on the Gen ZT. So that's Gen ZT on our LinkedIn presence is the strongest. So that's where people can find me.
And so what words of advice do you have for all the people in your communities or people who want to join your community to build a personal brand and help each other and be successful?
Yeah, so I highly recommend people to start hosting events. There is someone I just know, Isabella, just joined A16Z, and I encouraged her to start hosting events. And now she has a brand new job from Amazon to A16Z, which is a huge, big VC fund. So I really encourage people to host like their own events, and you never know what may happen from it.
Well, incredible. Natalie, I can't wait to do some events together maybe at some point. That would be amazing. And to go to some of your events as well and encourage more people to join you as well. Amazing. Thank you so much, Natalie. Really enjoyed our conversation today. And hopefully we're going to have many more Gen Z people become super connectors themselves and join the movement.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Take care.